Hey, man. All right. So Thanksgiving, at the time of this show coming live, is happening today. You're probably either at your relatives' houses or you're getting ready and you're heading to family residences, or they're all coming to your house. Something along those lines is actually happening. Well, we know how fun it is for families to get together, and they can be times of anguish and all that. But what if what they're talking about, what they're saying, those opinions that they have don't have any effect on you? That's what we're going to be talking about this week on episode 104 is other people's opinions. This week on Relaxed Male, episode 104.
Hello and welcome to Relaxed Male, a podcast that helps men change their relationship with themselves. I am your host, Brian, and I am a men's life and mindset coach who is here to help you understand that you don't have to suffer at your own expense. You can live your dream, and I encourage you to set, then pursue your goals. So join me as I change the mindset and attitudes of men so that they can be the leaders of their families and their destinies.
Hey, man. All right. So Thanksgiving's today. All right. And if you're listening to this today, great. If you're listening to it a little bit later on, still awesome. Appreciate you. Appreciate the time coming in, sitting down, listening as you're traveling down the road, heading over to grandma's house, or maybe you're standing here waiting for everybody to show up because they're all coming to your place. Either way, doesn't matter. The family times, especially the holidays, there is a lot of people who seem to just get overly worked up about what it means to have family over, or for you to be around families, because we start getting, as everybody gets together, you've got grandma, she's asking you when you're going to start having kids, and you're like, God, grandma, I don't know. I'm kind of dating a girl, but we're not, there's nothing really big going on, or anything like that. Or maybe you've got, your uncle who's making really snide comments, and you've got this other uncle who's wanting to share with you his latest conspiracy theories and wanting to let you know how the government's out to try to kill us all. And all these fun things, and they're all opinions is what they are. And we take these opinions to mean stuff, and it can be such a big problem because, you've got your cousin who's the favorite of the family, and everybody looks upon her as being the top dog, the cat's meow, whatever phrase you want to place it. They all look at her as if she's the one who's got it all together, but yet you actually know, because you talk to her on a regular basis, and she talks about how she's in debt up to her eyeballs, and she doesn't know how she's going to get the holidays taken care of. She doesn't know how she's supposed to be able to get all this taken care of, all this stuff that needs to be done, supposed to be done. But yet, she's got her own set of anguish and misery and things along those lines. And it's just, we all have our thoughts of who's doing really good and who's doing really bad, and why does granddad and my uncle just always want to seem to corner me and talk politics? We all have these thoughts. We'll have all these different reactions to different circumstances that are happening in our lives all the time. And it just seems to get magnified even more whenever family has gotten together. You really can't stand how your uncle wants to just always talk politics all the time. It's like, that's the only thing that's on his mind. Or you've got a cousin who's just gotten back from college, and he's just spouting Marxist rhetoric left and right and all this other stuff. And you're just like, oh my God, no, I don't, kid, wait until you actually go out and you own your own house before you start trying to think you're a communist. We have all these thoughts and all these conflict points. And it's all actually means nothing, because you see so many articles and blog posts and topics that come up talking about how to handle your relatives when you get, during the holiday season, how to deal with that right-wing extremist uncle of yours, and how to deal with your slightly weird aunt, and all these other things that come about, and all the family. And we get articles, self-help article after self-help article about how to handle the relatives. I mean, heck, I even did one about 2 years ago. And yet everybody overlooks the key element into all this. And that being that we're thinkers. That is the baseline of it all. We all think. Even that ditzy aunt of yours is actually a thinker. She has her own thoughts. We all roughly do about 40 to 60, depending on which study you see, anywhere from 40 to 60,000 different individual thoughts every day about every different type of circumstance that we come across. Make a left turn, right turn. Do you even really contemplate and actively think, do I make a left turn or a right hand turn? Or is it, I'm going to work, let's make a right hand turn and let's go down the road to the stop sign. Now let's make a left hand turn. Let's go down the road and then let's take the on ramp and then on the highway and away we go. Some of us go on autopilot, and a lot of those little thoughts that we have, they become very automatic and they become very easy. I believe the hippocampus is I have got one hell of a big daddy long leg inside my house right now. And this isn't actually a daddy long. Where the hell did he come from? Wow. Talk about taking a change of, shifting gears. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Sorry about that. If you, hope you didn't miss me too much, but yeah, good grief, boy, that was a big old daddy. He's a big old fat dude too. So, so anyhow, all right. So let's go back to everybody talking about everybody's a thinker. So as we go through our life, every day we have a different type of circumstance. Like I talked about a couple weeks ago, our circumstances don't mean anything, and those circumstances can be what a person said. So maybe your uncle said that, the government's out to kill you. Let's stick with the conspiracy theorist uncle. You can take that to mean anything you want. That, the government's out to kill you, as your uncle's telling the truth, as your uncle is completely off his rocker. Your uncle forgot to take his Geritol. It could also cause the thought of, well, I remember when, so-and-so used to think that, or maybe, what if he is? What if it isn't? What if, we have all these thoughts, and we can even have multiple thoughts about the same circumstance itself. Our thoughts about a particular topic can never be the same as anybody else's, though. And that's one thing that so many people really struggle with, because they think I should be thinking like them. Well, I can't think like them. I don't have that ability, don't have the power to think like they do, because my thoughts are my thoughts. My cousin's thoughts about the upcoming Christmas season is all their thoughts. And we can have the same instance where we get the turkey and I think it's really dry and my cousin thinks it's really wet and moist and delicious and yummy. And I think it tastes really good, but by gosh, I've seen more moisture in the Sahara Desert. We can have different thoughts about the same circumstance. This is because a lot of our problems though come into the fact that us humans like to mix our emotions into our thoughts. So we have a thought and that thought spins up an emotion. And the emotion that we have about that is actually what we're reacting to. So say you've got a cousin who makes a snide remark about the person you're dating, and everybody looks at you like, what, you're dating? Or really, you're dating them? Now you can take them, all your family looking at you as meaning they're judging you, or they're like, oh, wow, he's actually gone out for a date again. He's out back on the dating scene again. You can look at everything that happens in a multitude of different ways. And somebody looking at you funny could be that were having their own thoughts and just happened to be glancing your way. You saw them look your direction, but that didn't mean anything. It doesn't mean that they were laughing at you or looking at you particularly weird. It may have looked like it, but they didn't even realize you were standing in front of you. So when someone comes up and say y'all are having a discussion and your uncle tells you that you are just flat out wrong, you are crazy, you can mean that to be, hey, he thinks that I'm crazy, or he can just think that I don't see how you can actually think that thought because that thought doesn't make sense to him. It's just how we interpret what our circumstances are, what the thoughts that we have about those circumstances, what people say about us, and what we interpret those sayings and that action to actually mean to us. So many times when we hear someone else's thoughts, we want to apply our own thoughts to those thoughts and interpret that somebody else's thought as something else. Because anything anybody ever says is just an opinion. Believe it or not, it's just, there's no truth in anything that they're actually saying. Now, well, correction, I'll get into what truth is here in a moment. But for the basis, it is most of the time people are just walking around sharing their thoughts about the thoughts of other people. And when you start having discussions, religious discussions or, spiritual discussions or any other type of discussions that happen to be going on at the family table during Thanksgiving, is just people sharing opinions about other people's opinions. There's very little, if any, facts that are ever actually mixed in there. And now you will have people who share the facts, but they will also share what their interpretations, what their opinions of those facts actually mean. So you can say you're going to have half the table probably sit there and think the country's doing great, and you'll might even have the other half of the table on Thanksgiving sit there and say it's going to hell in a handbasket. Which one's right? Well, they both are, and that's because what they are seeing and what they're saying is what their truths actually are. Now, their truth can be right, can be wrong. But it doesn't really honestly matter whether they're right or they're wrong, because all we can do is we can just assimilate what their thoughts are and decide, hey, that's a good thought. That's a right thought. That's a wrong thought. That's a bad thought. We can disseminate it out and we can take it in. We can make it mean whatever in the world we want to be. But because we throw our emotions into those thoughts, that's where life and relationships can get messy. And that's wonderful that it does, because those emotions make our lives a lot more vibrant, a lot more, to mean a lot more, because we have those emotions, because we have those feelings about X, Y, Z, President Biden, Nancy Pelosi, George W. Bush, Donald Trump, Ted Cruz, all the actors and all the characters that are involved in government. We all have our own set of opinions about him. Even those who want to sit there and say, I have no opinion about him. Well, in all reality, that's an opinion. That's an opinion about having no opinion. So as I said, people react to what they believe is to be the truth. Now, what is truth? Well, in the form that we're talking about, a truth is nothing more than a belief. Now, belief is nothing more than a thought that we perceive to be true. And I've talked about that a few times before in previous podcasts and previous blog posts. But take a person who has changed religion, say a Christian becomes a Jewish person, or a Muslim becomes a Christian, or an atheist becomes a Wiccan, or any form. Which one was wrong? In all reality, no, neither. None of them were wrong beforehand or after. It's just they had more knowledge come in, and they had other people's thoughts and had other circumstances come into their life where they looked at them, examined those circumstances, and realized that the previous belief that they had needed to be shifted. And so instead of being a Christian, they decided to join Judaism, or Judaism decided to become a Muslim, or, a Muslim decided to become a Hindu, or a Hindu decided to become a Buddhist, or a Buddhist decided to go into Wicca, or Wicca decided to become an atheist, or an atheist decided to, maybe just a slight shift and become agnostic. There's any direction in a million different ways we can go. Even in Christianity, you can break it down. You can be Catholic, you can be Episcopalian, you can be Baptist or Pentecostal, or Latter-day Saint or any of these. And then you can divide amongst those, and there's subsects of I mean, you've got Primitive Baptist, and you've got Southern Baptist, and you've got Bible Baptist, and you've got like 30, 40 different Baptists. And then you got subsects like Jehovah's Witnesses and Seventh-day Adventists and things like that. And so each of those are basically subsegments of what we believe. Some people believe that we should be having our church services on Saturdays. So they become Seventh-day Adventists. And while others are like, never mind, no, I think Sunday is the right time. And so they become just a Bible Baptist or a Southern Baptist or a Primitive Baptist. And are they wrong? No, they're not. It's just they have taken their own thoughts and applied those thoughts, applied the circumstances around them to what they believe, and what they believe generates a particular sensation, a particular emotion, and because of that emotion, they decide, hey, I need to change my belief, or I need to hold firm to my belief. And in all reality, none of them are wrong. Now, can you be wrong? Yeah, you can believe that 1 + 1 = 5. But if you look at the base facts, the actual facts, not what you believe to be facts, but or believe to be true, the base facts show that 2 + 2 actually = 4. So there are facts, and you can look at those facts and interpret what you want. And so, yeah, you can have Aunt Gladys stand around and go, no, 2 + 2 = 5. I believe that 2 + 2 is 5 because it's impossible to be a perfect 2. It's got, it's 2.3. And then the other one you're actually probably measuring is actually 2 plus, 2.7. And so that equals out to 5. And, you talk to people, especially those who are wrong, and they will rationalize why they are right. You have some of the worst gangsters out there who told you they were doing the good and public service by doing what they were doing, by going out robbing, racketeering, and playing and making companies pay for protection. They were doing a service for the community. So does the truth matter? Well, it does to those who wield that particular truth. While other people can look at the very same thing and go, yeah, no, that actually isn't all that important. So when it comes to like the whole political thing, people can take what you say and how you believe, and they can bend it to however you want. So when it comes to like talking politics and religion at the Thanksgiving table, you can have whatever thoughts and opinions you want. And it's great if you do discuss them and hash them out. And the more you stand firm with what you believe, it's, you may have people who are making fun of you, but that's because of the reaction that they are having to your thought. It's not that they're mad at you. They're mad at what the reaction is that you're making in their mind. And that could be, oh my gosh, I used to be, it could be a projectionist type of reaction where they're mad at you because they used to feel that, and they gave up those beliefs long ago because, it was just easier not to fight against that. But yet here you are fighting in the fight that they wish they were still fighting. Or it could just be that, no, they think you're completely wrong and that that people like you are going to destroy the country. You can be okay with that. That's actually the really cool thing, is you can be okay with what thoughts other people have about you, because those thoughts are nothing more than opinions. There's no fact in that thinking. So you can think what you want, and you can share your opinions about what a certain circumstance actually means, and people can throw their thoughts back at you, which are just opinions about what you said. So you can choose to have those opinions matter something, because a lot of times what hurts our feelings is we're thinking about what they said and how it reflects upon us. Because maybe you have some issues that you're working through, and all of a sudden they've said something that really pricked up that thought. And so now all of a sudden it's, oh my gosh, how dare he accuse me of that, though it's slightly true. He's gotten really close to what the truth was. I don't like the fact that he did that. So as we go through the rest of the week and go through and enjoy Friday and have our gallons of turkey soup and turkey a la king and all the other turkey dishes that are going on out there, be okay with other people's opinions, because the opinions don't matter. They're not important. Yeah, they will sit there and they will hold on to those opinions like their life depends on it. But in all reality, no, most of the time those opinions do not mount to a hill of beans, because those are nothing more than opinions. They may be loosely tied to a piece of fact and the truth that they believe that fact means, but it doesn't mean anything to you. And so you don't have to let it choose. You can choose to not let it mean anything in particular, or you can choose to let it mean the world. That choice is completely upon you, and that is completely up to you. And so if you want to have it mean something, then have it mean something. If you don't want it to mean anything, then okay, it doesn't mean anything. That's on you. There's nothing else that you really have to worry about on that. So guys, as y'all are probably getting over to wherever it is you're going for the week, I want to thank you again for listening. If you hear anything on here that you found impactful or meaningful, or caused you to think of somebody who would really benefit from hearing this, share that out. Share it. Most of podcast players these days have a share button. So hit that share button, send it as a text over to your friend, your cousin, your who's, your what's, or whatever it is you feel like. Share this episode out with them. Or if you know somebody who could really benefit from Relaxed Male, share the whole episode out. Share the whole show out with your social media. Share it out onto Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Take a screenshot, put it up on Instagram. Any of those ways that maybe you're on Parler, share it on Parler, share it on Getter. Maybe you're one of the test runners for Truth Social. You can do that. You can share it on any social media platform that you want. It's easy to just copy and paste and put out why you think it's a great show and what you think about it, and let people know that, hey, there's this show out there that's for men, so that they can actually get rid of that nice guy syndrome, so they can actually live life on their terms and live a complete and full life. So guys, with that, I want to thank you again. Y'all have a safe on your travels to and from during the holidays. Be safe, be careful, keep your head on a swivel, and we'll see you next week. Till then, bye.